What is going on, my crazy 76er fanatics? Thanks for stopping back in for another daily pod with your daily 76er information. Guys, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. If you decide to leave a comment or two, we read more than a few. We read all of your comments you leave down below. So make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. And have you heard the comments, the remarks, and the baloney BS statements Daryl Morey has been making? One thing we can know about Daryl from his past relationships with players like James Harden, Markieff Morris, and from his post-season interviews, Daryl's a filthy liar. Daryl just lies for a living. Daryl does not tell the truth. Daryl said that he wanted this team, this 76er squad, to become healthier, faster, and younger. And then he went on to sign an older Eric Gordon, a slower Kyle Lowry, and a less athletic point guard and shooting guard combo between the two, while releasing the most athletic, one of the youngest and most explosive hustle players this team had in Ricky Council IV. I don't know how the heck you tell the fans, hey, I want to get faster and younger, and you release the fastest, youngest, and most athletic player on this roster for two older guys. There's one roster spot that is wide open, and what is important to Daryl Morey this year, outside of finding the perfect piece to make the releasing of Ricky Council make sense to the fan base and the front office ahead, guys, he's trying to get job security. Daryl Morey, the most important thing to Daryl Morey this offseason and this season in general is just securing job security for this season, next seasons, and future seasons. Because, guys, Daryl is in trouble. And one thing that I'm pretty sure he's coming to grips with, and one thing he's finally realizing, you can't buy a championship. You can't pay for a winner. Winning is grown organically, and there are two external anomalies that you have to factor in that you can't necessarily plan for. That's injury, and that's luck. Every championship team and every championship player will tell you, our team, we had great health, and we had great luck. And to have good health, you need good luck, which is not in the Philadelphia 76ers formula so far. They've had terrible health, terrible luck, and terrible postseason success. So one thing Daryl is trying to do is just save face. It is just build a team, build a franchise with a Daryl Morey identity. Because one thing you got to realize, guys, Daryl didn't draft Joel. Daryl didn't draft Ben Simmons. No. If this is truly going to become Daryl's team, Daryl's franchise, and Daryl's going to fail, he's going to fail Daryl's way, which is with the players he drafted and the players he believed in, with the ideologies and the basketball schemes that he's brought upon, which is three, which is some defense and layups, guys. Daryl did draft Tyrese Maxey. Guys. So as Daryl decides to shift this franchise from a Joel Embiid-focused team, he will now prioritize the success of his draft pick, Tyrese Maxey. And if you know Daryl Morey's ideology, guys, he does believe that winning happens with winners. To build a winning team, you need winning players. And if you also know Daryl, he doesn't believe that young players, rookie players, sophomore players can contribute to a winning squad that early into their career without being extremely talented or getting the on-court reps to fail before you succeed. And this Sixer team doesn't have time for any failures. Success needs to happen the moment the season kicks off, especially for the fans and especially for the front office, who has been apparently calling for Daryl Morey's job. And if I'm Daryl, and to do a good job, I need proven winners to make the team that I'm trying to prove can be a winner. I'm going to sign some reunion players. I'm going to have some players who have had success in the city of Philadelphia, who can withstand the tumultuous fan base, who can withstand the very chaotic media coverage, and who can also withstand Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey. Players who are comfortable with those two. I'm going to sign those players who've won here before to win here once again. A perfect reunion candidate. A guy who had his best career season in a Philadelphia uniform. Seth Curry. Okay? Seth Curry would be the perfect reunion candidate because he goes against everything Daryl Morey says he stands for. Daryl wants to get younger. Daryl wants to get healthier. Daryl wants to get more athletic. Seth Curry is the opposite of all three, and that's exactly what Daryl Morey is probably going to do, sign the opposite of what he's telling you he wants to. But Seth Curry, outside of those things, you know, the bad side, the great thing is Seth Curry is a knockdown shooter still to this day. He's still one of the most efficient three-point shooters. And while he was in Philadelphia, him and Joel had one of the most impactful and successful points per possession dribble handoffs, pick and rolls. Seth Curry could be a perfect reunion candidate, especially if Quentin Grimes refuses to sign. Guys, a reunion is incoming, and I think it's most likely and more likely for it to be Quentin Grimes because the Philadelphia 76ers have his bird rights. The rumors on the streets is that Quentin Grimes may just sign that qualifying offer for about $7 mil, $8 mil for a one-year deal, and next year hit the market once again. Regardless of if Quentin Grimes thinks the best thing for his career is to sign a one-year deal with Philadelphia and on a pay-for-play type of deal, he still will be back in Philadelphia, and he still will be playing alongside Tyrese Maxey. Quentin Grimes is the perfect reunion piece. Even though he was on the squad last year, many fans assume he'll be returning this year. He is a perfect reunion piece to be on this team for many seasons to come because like Daryl's ideology, to build a winning team, you need winning players. And fun fact, guys, Tyrese Maxey and Quentin Grimes won on the same team in high school. They won on the same team for the state championship before their collegiate careers. At the end of the day, comfortability, team chemistry, and camaraderie are huge impactors to figure out which team is going to be successful in the postseason, which team can trust their players down the stretch, and which team can rely on one another. Tyrese Maxey and Quentin Grimes have already been there. They've been there, and they've done that at the highest stakes of them all at that time, which was high school play. They won it all. They can win it again, guys, because Quentin Grimes is the perfect piece because not only does he have the offensive chops to knock down threes, to do a little bit of ball handling, to get down to the paint and definitely knock down a mid-range jumper, but defensively, guys, that's where Quentin Grimes has made his name. That is where Quentin Grimes has made his bread and butter and was able to stay in the league because defensively, he can give your best player some trouble. Defensively, he can give your best offensive scorer a few looks. And defensively, guys, he can guard point guards, shooting guards, and a few wings. So he's a plug-and-play guy anywhere on this Philadelphia team that needs front court and back court defensive hustle, defensive effort. But, guys, this whole episode, this whole pod is about the reunions that Daryl Morey is probably cooking up if you know Daryl. And a reunion with a player who had his best seasons with Philadelphia. I'm talking about one player who, in Philadelphia, was looking like one of the greatest of all times. And once they left Philadelphia, they're looking like the greatest shame of all time. Guys, Ben Simmons may be the perfect signing for this team because offensively, if Joel Embiid is playing, if Paul George is playing, if Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, offensively, this team should be covered. Defensively is where the question marks are. Defensively is where the question marks still reside. And if Ben Simmons can answer all of those questions with the defensive effort he's been still able to get out in this late in his career. Ben Simmons, guys, had career years in Philadelphia. I'm talking about almost averaging a double-double. I'm talking about seeing and making the All-Star game multiple times here in Philadelphia and potentially being rumored to be the next LeBron James. And I think those comparisons are long gone for Ben Simmons, but saying that Ben Simmons can't still be serviceable, saying that Ben Simmons still can't be good, saying that Ben Simmons can't contribute to winning basketball, I think is all false. Ben Simmons still has some juice left in the legs and some bounce left in his back because Ben Simmons' back is probably his biggest issue. I think in a smaller role, not a 30-minute per game role, maybe not even a 20-minute per game role, but 15, 16, 17, 18, just some backup point guard minutes, some backup power forward minutes would definitely suit Ben Simmons' career extremely well and would definitely give him the comfortability of playing in a city that he knows how to play in, playing for a fan base where we know what we want. We want effort. We want hustle. We want energy. We want the gosh darn defensive effort that Daryl Morey says this team was going to bring in the offseason. But with the signings, we're not sure if that's going to happen. Ben Simmons would be the perfect defensive signing to fill some of these power forward holes and to fill some of their backcourt deficiencies defensively. Jared McCain's not a defensive stopper. You don't want Tyrese Maxey to be known as a defensive stopper. Quentin Grimes can play defense, but he's no Dyson Daniels, no Lou Dort, no Chris Dunn. If you want a true blue defensive aficionado, go back to who you know the best. Ben Simmons had one of his best seasons. Plus, He's comfortable picking up some of Joel's slack on the defensive end. He's comfortable starting the fast break. He's comfortable dribbling up the ball. And he's also comfortable allowing Tyrese Maxey and Jared McCain, two probably true shooting guards, playing better off the ball, to play off the ball and knock down those open jump shots. Because Ben Simmons is his best when he plays with shooters and plays with space. And this may be the most spaced Philadelphia 76er team since the J.J. Redick and Marco Bellinelli years. This could be the best for the Philadelphia 76er squad for a Ben Simmons career resurgence. And that's only going to happen, guys, if this offense is gosh darn good. Because the way the offense is looking right now, you've got Joel, you've got Paul George, and you're not sure if you're going to have them for the starting training camp for the start of the season. If those two stars aren't ready for the start of the season, what the heck is this offense going to look like? I guess it's just a Tyrese Maxey-led team, guys. Guys, the best teams in the NBA, the teams that make the championship, the teams that make the most noise, they score about 120 a game. They average about 120 points per game. The Thunder were easily eclipsing 120 points per game, especially when that offense was clicking. How is this Philadelphia 76er team going to get to that point mark? Tyrese Maxey maybe, hopefully, give you about a 30-point per game average. Cool. Jared McCain, you're going to need Jared McCain to take a huge sophomore jump and average about 20 points per game if Paul George, if Joel Embiid aren't ready to play on the court. You're also going to need Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre to go back to his Charlotte Hornet roots and be a 20-point per game player. In this Philadelphia uniform, Kelly Oubre has been hustle, he's been effort, he's been energy, and he's been a defensive tenacity. If Joel Embiid and Paul George aren't playing, you're going to need to scrap those roles and give Kelly a new task sheet of being offensive reliable, being a knockdown three-point shooter, still bringing the hustle, the effort, the defensive tenacity, but also bringing the efficiency on the offensive end that Kelly Oubre hasn't been able to bring all season long, guys. This offense, without Joel, without Paul George, leaves a lot of openings, leaves a lot of usage up for grabs. Maybe Quentin Grimes does decide to sign and does return back to a 20-point per game player that you saw after the All-Star break. Maybe that's possible. Maybe that happens. But where does that leave Jared McCain's usage? Where does that leave Jared McCain's touches? Scoring 120 points per game, guys, is not an easy task. But if you want to be a winning team in this league, Daryl Morey knows that's exactly the squad you're going to have to cook up. And based off the players we have on paper, guys, so far, Tyrese Maxey seems like the only player you can truthfully rely on offensively. Unless some more signings will be made, unless some trades are going to happen before the season starts, or unless Joel and Paul George are ready before week 1. I'm excited, guys, for the start of the season. And if you're excited like I'm excited, like, subscribe, and you better comment, guys, because we're having daily 76er conversations every day here. So make sure you comment and leave a few, because we're reading more than 2, guys. We read all your comments. Like, comment, and subscribe, because we'll be back with another Daily Pod tomorrow.